Based on the box office numbers, it looks like everyone in the world has already seen Avengers Endgame. So we think many of you will enjoy this Avengers-themed tutorial. I'm Axel from FXhome, and in this video we are going to look at creating the effect where Loki transforms from one character to another. Because everybody loves Loki. The project file and media are linked in the description, so you can download them and follow along. So I've done some of the setup in this project already. I've got a background imported, then two green screen clips of Ollie and Javert, which were shot to align with each other. They are labeled A and B to indicate the order of the clips. These clips have been keyed to remove the green screen and converted to composite shots to embed the transparency created by the key. You can learn more about removing green screen in the tutorial linked on screen now. The center point marks the origin of the transformation, which typically begins at Loki's eyes. And a bit of grading has been done to create our final look. The two clips overlap where the transformation will take place, and that is the specific area where the alignment needs to be good. You will see that the alignment of these two clips isn't perfect, but the final effects hide the transition a bit, so it still works pretty well. When filming your own footage, the more accurate the alignment is, the better. What we will focus on in this video is creating the glowing edge of the transition, hiding Javert and revealing Ollie. The hide and the reveal are done with masks, which will be animated to match the shape of the procedurally generated edge. So first, let's create that edge. Create a new plane named Edge Wipe, colored black, then change its blend mode to Add. Move it below the grade layer, and slide it or trim it so it starts on the same frame as the Ollie layer. Then, add the radio waves effect. In the position controls, select the center point layer. For the shape, select Circle. Now we have some circular waves emitting from Javert's forehead. In appearance, I set the opacity to 100, but after building some of the other effects, realized that 70% works better. Bring Fade In down to 0 so the waves start immediately, and Fade Out to 100 so they stick around. Wave End comes down to 2 seconds, as that is plenty of time for the transformation to occur. Start width we'll set to 60, end width to 70, gives us a wider line to work with. The motion controls are where we really dial in the movement. Bring frequency down to 0, and we get only one wave, which is perfect. Turn expansion all the way up to 500 to get as much speed out of the wave as we can. This is a good start, but it needs to move faster than expansion will allow. So let's add a speed effect. On the first frame of the layer, enable keyframing for the speed, then advance 5 frames and set speed to 4. That is much more like the speed we want. Next, we want to make this line a lot more random and organic, so it's not a smooth, even line. We need to distort it, and for this sort of effect, energy distortion is perfect. If you're using HitFilm Express, this is available in the VFX Distortion pack. In the energy distortion controls, under Mask, select our Ollie B layer. The wave needs to reveal that second character, the B character, Ollie, and so we can mask the distortion to the shape of that layer. Then increase distortion to about 170 and scale to 100. Then bring the diffusion bias and strength down to 0. If you aren't absolutely thrilled with those results, then go ahead and adjust the settings until they tickle your fancy. Now we need to remove the wave from the areas outside the character, which is easy enough using a Set Matte effect. Add the Set Matte and set the source layer to Ollie once again. Matte source is set to alpha by default, which is what we want. Set the blend to subtract, then invert the effect, and we are good to go. Using just a few effects, we have created an organic procedural wipe that is applied only to our character. Next, we have a bit of manual keyframing to animate some masks for the transition from Javert to Ollie. We can save some time though by animating the first mask and then copying it to the second layer and inverting it. Now, if you are like me, then as much as you would like to watch me do all of this rotoscoping in glorious real time, you would rather first have a root canal followed by a lobotomy. So instead, I have added the mask into the project to save time. And if we turn it on, voila! You can look at the exact details of this mask if you have any questions. The edge of the mask is feathered a bit to soften it, and the mask is inverted so the area inside the mask is hidden. One tip I can give you is to find the frame where the largest amount of the mask's radius is visible, and create the mask on that frame to ensure you have enough points in the mask shape. Then, edit the basic expansion by selecting all the points and scaling them up and down, and then adjust the individual points to match the shape of our edge wipe. With the mask animated on the first layer, we can copy it, then paste it onto the second layer, Ollie. Since the Javert layer starts earlier on the timeline, we need to open the Mask Transform properties on Ollie, select all our keyframes, and shift them back to the first frame of the layer. Now they align with the keyframes in the original mask. Toggle the invert button so the area inside of the Ollie mask is visible. Now, the visible areas of each layer are exactly opposite each other, so as Javert disappears, Ollie fills in that space. You can compare these masks now and make any adjustments to either one as you see fit to make sure that you're happy with the transition from one character to the other. Now, all the main components are in place, so we can look at the details and make the effect look a bit more Asgardian. Or would that be Jotunheimian, considering Loki's origins? I don't even know if Jotunheimian is green. Let's make it green. Back on the edge wipe plane, add a glow effect. Increase intensity to 4.5, threshold to around 50%, and radius to 120. Now, we will use the per channel intensity to adjust the color of the glow. Increase green a bunch to around 1.5, then reduce red a touch to 0.8 or so, and reduce blue to 0.442, somewhere in there. Next, add a gleam effect. If you're an Express user, Gleam is available in the VFX lighting pack. Move the playhead to frame 204, where we have a good amount of the edge wipe visible, to dial in the gleam settings. Set ray length to 94 and maximum value to 0.86. Open the position controls and set Use Layer to the center point. Enable keyframing for both of those properties, then step back to the first frame where the edge wipe is visible and push the maximum value to 1 to get more rays on that frame. Then move through the rest of the effect and see how it looks. Around 207, I feel like the rays could be a bit more visible, so adjust the ray length to 70 so they aren't spread out so much. In the colorize controls, enable colorization, then set the color to green. Play through the effect, and if you see any areas where you aren't in love with the results, make whatever adjustments you want to. I'm pretty happy with that, but there is one more thing that would help finish this off. If we add a bit of a green shift to Javert for just a few frames before the wipe begins, it will help blend the effect into the scene, it gives the audience a bit of an indication of what is coming, and it adds to the reveal as the effect grows. So find the radial gradient effect and add it to Javert. Set the center position to the center point, as we did with the other effects, and set the inner radius color to green, because everything's green. Reduce the radius to 0 and set the opacity to 0.3. Set the outer radius color to black and change the blend mode of the effect to add. Now we are going to animate the radius, so go to the first frame of the Ollie layer to start with, and adjust the outer radius to 920 or whatever you think looks good, then enable keyframing. Move to several frames before the effect starts, around 126, and reduce the radius to 0. Then, at the final frame of the Javert layer, crank the radius way up to 2080 or so. This allows the leading edge of the gradient to advance ahead of the edge wipe, and that finishes the effect. Now, there is one thing I would have done differently if I had the time, but scheduling didn't allow it. What I wanted to do is duplicate the character layers and use masks to separate the hammer and the right arm on those duplicate layers. Then the main wipe would occur behind the hammer, and by adding a separate instance of the wipe effect to the arm and the hammer, and moving the origin point, we could make it look like the wipe starts on his face and moves out across the surface of the character, gradually reaching down the arm and across the hammer and giving more of a 3D feel to the effect. I hope one or more of you will give that a shot and send us the results.
I'm sorry. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Thanks for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed it. Javert recently did a tutorial on how to put yourself into Avengers, which you can watch here if you haven't yet. Let us know if you have any questions or what other tutorials you want to see based on Earth's mightiest heroes. And I'll be back soon with another video.